You know, it's full house, right? I mean, my typical size of audience is 5, so I really humbly appreciate everybody for coming. My job is rather easy tonight because I want to talk about this gas, this satanic gas, we will call it, this satanic gas called CO2, carbon dioxide. And the carbon dioxide, according to the wisdom of what you call the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change reports, that says that if you were to keep putting this carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, the globe is going to warm, the sea is going to rise, the polar bear is going to say, stop drinking Coca-Cola and say goodbye. And many other problems, by the way. Your kids will get ADHD, all kinds of problems. There will be more marijuana and all that stuff, so on and so forth. I'm here trying to tell you that this CO2 is not that powerful in that sense. The only thing it does to the system is actually make the planet greener. So I apologize if this really bothers anyone. But my passion is very sincere. It's all about science. All the way down, it's all about science, nothing else. I have a quote here by Professor Richard Feynman. He's among the finest physicists America ever seen. Have you all heard about that consensus business? 97%. I mean, the kind of stuff they're pulling is very bad, actually. All this 97, 99% consensus, it means nothing. It's all about actually asking a simple question like, do you think that climate will change? Of course. I'm one of those 97%. It's just pure nonsense. It's nothing about science. Science is about what are the facts, what are the evidence, and so on and so forth. The Professor Jim Hansen from NASA Goddard Institute for Space Study. By the way, you all know who he is, right? He's the father of global warming. He's the man who testified in the Senate in 1988, making a clear statement that he's 99% sure that he has already seen the global warming effect by the carbon dioxide. This is telling you the level of stuff he's doing. He's presenting this talk to show that the forest fire numbers burned in the areas has been increasing. And he showed data from 1960 to about 2017 or so. But he forgot that the whole data sets is available from 1926 or so. Why would he do such a thing, He basically, you all understand, right? He was showing you only that little part, but he forgot to show you from 1926 to 1960. Isn't that childish? Are we serious about science? And these are called scientists, right? And I'm not supposed to tell people about this? I don't even know why he bothered to do this, actually. So, part of the stuff that I have passion about, when you mess around with science, you mess around with me, right? Reverse incentive science. You're not only not doing science, you have to do something anti-science to get an award, right? So these people, to me, they're just burning everything away, it's dangerous. I'm obligated to show this chart from Professor John Christie of University of Alabama, Huntsville, is to show you all this record daily hottest temperature in United States. United States has a very good temperature record, so we can go back about from 1895 until now. You can see it's been changing up and down, but then what we have now is just what it is. So this is the type of political game and so-called experts are selling to the rest of the world. Who thinks that the most important greenhouse gas in the climate is carbon dioxide? Oh, very smart audience. If we want to study climate change and all that, you really need to study hydrology. And just to give you an example, don't mind the complexity. All the arrows is meant to tell you that, please don't get confused, but then it's to try to show you the climate is really complex. And I'm going to show you, if I click all the individual components and compare the role of carbon dioxide and water vapor in the climate system, let's say who is in charge, right? So first thing we go is we keep clicking. All the blue one turns out to be controlled by water vapor. Okay, snow area, ice area, surface vapor pressure, relative humidity, soil moisture, evaporation, everything is blue. And then they say that if you just change the carbon dioxide, that you're going to get that. You're going to control the climate system. What I'm showing you is that temperature and water vapor at one instant of time. Okay? It shows you that as you have more water vapor, the area tends to be warmer. As you have less water vapor, it tends to be cooler. Okay? That shows you how close a relationship of temperature and water vapor is in the climate system. And then in terms of time, at least we have two satellite measurements. The blue curve is actually showing you the temperature measurement, and then the red curve is actually showing you the water vapor concentration in the atmosphere detected by the satellite radiometer. Okay? They're pretty close relationship. So I want to show you this case that is very outrageous. What I'm plotting here is three curves. Two curves is basically the blue and the red curve. They are what you call the satellite temperature measurement of the global temperature. From about 1990 something to about, let's say, present time. It's going up and down, but it's flat, right? This is what the famous thing called the global warming hiatus is not warming up, while the carbon dioxide is still rising. And then another data set that shows is rising is produced by NASA Goddard Institute for Space Study. The two satellite data is measuring something from a layer about a few kilometers up from the atmosphere. What is measured by NASA GIS, Goddard Institute for Space Study, the green curve, is from the surface thermometer data. We don't believe that data is true, of course. I'm very far near the end now, so please be patient. The thing I want to show now is basically about sun-climate connection, which is my area of study. The picture is just to give you the essence that the sun is powering all the energetic in the system. The typical story how IPCC would say sun is not important is to show you a graph like this. They use a concept called radiative forcing. According to them, carbon dioxide gives you 1.82 watt per meter square over the last 260 years. And then the sun gives you only 0.04 watt per meter square. Game's over, right? The sun is indeed the big giant gorilla in the climate system. This is actually a very nice picture of the sun in X-ray taken by some colleagues from my workplace in X-ray. The blue curve is the temperature maximum, the daily temperature maximum from the United States versus the solar irradiance, the red curve. If you don't believe that, you also can see that in Canada. If you don't believe that, you can see roughly of that picture. So my takeaway message tonight is this. There are simply no experimental data to support the view that the Earth is changing in a very strange way or dangerous way. By carbon dioxide, by the sun, by whoever, you know. And then one thing that we are sure, carbon dioxide is just a big player in the climate system. Sam Alito just gave a talk somewhere in Claremont colleges a few years ago that simply say that really carbon dioxide is never ever a pollutant. This is very strange. They want to change the reality by using this human law, not the physical law. CO2 could never ever be an air pollutant. This is really a messy business, by the way. This is telling you something is very strange here. And then my third point is that the sun is, in my humble opinion, is primary driver of climate change, and one should study as much as possible. And one should study it and understand the exact way in which the sun affects the Earth system. My last slide is to quote a good friend of mine by the name of Professor Richard Lindzen, retired already from MIT because he's a bit fed up. He needs a rest. He really said that this problem is rather serious, really. He said when the historian, what historian would definitely wonder about in the future century is how deeply flawed logic, obscured by shrewd Atlantic propaganda, actually enable a coalition of powerful special interests to convince nearly everyone, except lucky few like us, right, in the world that carbon dioxide from human industry was a dangerous, planet-destroying toxin. It will be remembered as the greatest mass delusion in the history of the world, that carbon dioxide, CO2, the life of plants, was considered at times to be a deadly poison. I finish. Thank you.